Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. To my left or to your right, we've got Wine, so hope you are well.
I'm good, pal. Thank you very much.
As well, it's Forest Wolves tomorrow. How are you expecting it to go ahead?
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, two teams near the bottom of the table. There's lots of pressure on both teams. I'd say there's more pressure on Wolves than Forest to get a result. I watched the Forest game last Monday, and although we're probably slightly second best to Villa, there's a lot of heart and determination in the team, and it was probably a point that Forest weren't disappointed with. I think the pressure, though, coming into Saturday with Wolves, there's a massive game ahead for them. There's no manager. Then obviously there's the return of Gibbs White, so I think the atmosphere will be hot. But from a Wolves point of view, we really need to get the first goal, and if we don't, I'll be a little bit concerned about tomorrow.
Mm. That's the thing because you guys are like there've been a lot of from my outside thing. It's been a lot going off at Wolves this summer with the sending of players like Gibbs White and that who came to us who it sounds like there's been a lot going off, hasn't there?
Yeah, so with the managerial situation at the end of last season, there was I think the fans were really split in terms of Bruno Lage. Should he continue? And my opinion is Wolves couldn't find who they would like as a replacement. So in that case, it was better the devil you know, and they stuck with him. So he came into this season. We changed formation. Obviously, Connor Cody went to Everton. Our captain Willie Bolly came to you. Gibbs White came to you. So there was a real shake-up in terms of the squad, which it needed because it had looked a bit stale and sort of from Nuno's old squad to Bruno's. Not a lot had really changed in terms of Wolves' dynamism going forward. So, yeah, it's been a summer of upheaval. We thought with the arrival of Matheus Nunes and Goncalo Guedes, there'd be a lot more creativity and goals, but there hasn't. We haven't seemed to find a system to allow them to play that way, which is frustrating because when you spend that kind of money, I mean, you guys haven't exactly not spent a lot this summer. You've invested heavily, particularly in some Wolves players. I think Willie Bolly 5 million and up to 40 million around that mark for Gibbs White. Should you hit the agendas on that? So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Lots going on at Wolves at the moment. No manager. We've got the caretaker manager taking the squad into the weekend. So for me, all I can think about is just trying to beat Forest tomorrow. And if we don't, it could see Molineux be rather interesting and not in a pleasant way.
Oh, really? Didn't really realise how bad it is at Wolves, to be fair. Like, as you're saying.
Yeah, so it's not particularly great at the moment. There seems to be a real lack of direction. I mean, I genuinely believe there's a lot of good players here. A lot of this squad had played European football with Wolves. They got to an FA Cup semi-final a couple of years ago back. Then the following year, a Europa League quarter-final. So there is some good players. Yes, some of the players have moved on. There's some new bodies in, but there's a lot of young talent. And I don't think we found the right tune to get the sort of the best out of these players yet. So it's frustrating, but I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. We haven't played each other for a little. I think we played each other in the cup at the start of last season, but we hadn't actually played each other in the league for quite a few years now, and I've always enjoyed a Forest and Wolves game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And considering the miserable picture I'm painting, I actually do feel quite confident. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You guys signed Diego Costa as well, haven't you, just recently?
Yeah, so Diego Costa hadn't played football for a little while. He come to us. George Mendes clients. So obviously we've got the connect there with a lot of our players and manager and things like that. So we're delighted with him. We very much needed someone. I mean, we're not expecting the Diego Costa that won the league with Chelsea or won many of the trophies he did in Spain. We're expecting a different version of him, but this guy can still play football. He's probably not as mobile and as quick as he was, but ball into his feet, ball into his head. That's where the great dangers have come from. And tomorrow, I'd be expecting Adama Traore to be playing up against whoever your left wing back is to give them a bit of a hot game. Who do you think will be left wing back tomorrow?
It's I'm not sure because we have had Lady playing since he came in. He came from Atletico Madrid, but he didn't play Monday. We had Toffolo played left back on Monday, so and
So
he
yeah,
put in a decent performance.
so I mean, Adama's one that splits the fans again. People say he's got no end product, but the amount of corners and free kicks he'll win you to sort of set up those chances. I really like Adama Traore. He's the fastest footballer I've ever seen. He's direct, he's strong, and people really underestimate what a good footballer he is, particularly his footwork and his ability to beat people. So I think he's the key for Wolves tomorrow. Now, watching Forest a few times as I have done, playing 3-4-3 or 5 at the back, whichever way you want to describe it. So I'd expect them early on to double up on Traore. I hope they don't and leave him in a one-on-one situation because he's very strong in a one-on-one situation. So my hopeful thought tomorrow is that Adama is doubled up on, and that leaves then a spare man somewhere else on the pitch, and hopefully Wolves can take advantage. But this is a Wolves side that's only scored 3 goals all season. Chances aren't really coming, not many goals, and I know Forest has scored a lot more than that, so you can see why the concern is here. But 3 goals, I think it's the lowest scoring. Wolves are the lowest scoring team across the top leagues in Europe.
Oh wow, I wouldn't have expected that, especially with the attacking talent you had. I mean, last 2 games, Forest gone back to a back 4 and gone like 4-3-3,
Okay.
which suit it. I mean, against Leicester it didn't work, but especially against Villa, it seemed to work a lot more. Like people stop doing this how he wants to play football, but he wanted to make sure that was stop the rot against Villa, and it seemed to work. I mean, even when we changed the striker, I meant we played Dennis up front against Villa, and him and Gibbs White sort of to like form that sort of connection that we want to see. I mean, Gibbs White and Rooney weren't really working.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Morgan Gibbs White, he's clearly a very talented footballer. If he's playing against you, I mean, you probably remember him in the cup game last year. He scored against you. He's very kindly on the eye with it. When his flicks and tricks come off, it's entertaining and it can be very dangerous. Unfortunately, though, the flicks and tricks probably came more often than playing the simple pass with Wolves. And again, he really split the fan base. We could see there's a talented footballer there with sometimes a really nice touch and a step over and a dummy. And he's someone that will entertain the fan base. However, in terms of his productivity, that was probably missing in his time at Wolves. But he had a great season at Sheffield last year. So he's shown that he does have the talent and maybe that he'll come good for Forest. I don't know. But what I'm interested to see is what kind of reception he gets tomorrow. I think it will be mixed, to be honest. I don't think it'll be applause all round. I think there'll be a lot of fans liked him because he was like a homegrown talent and a local lad. Others not so keen. So it'll be interesting to see what reception. But he will have a point to prove tomorrow.
Yeah, I've thought that to a fair because, I mean, he's shown his quality last season quite a lot for Sheffield United. And at first, when we signed him, I thought I was overpaying it for him, like 25 million plus whatever add-ons, and I weren't really sure on is he worth that much or could we wait to next year. But I mean, he has got something about him that I do like, and even his set pieces, I'm like every time we do take one in. I mean, half the time we scored quite a few goals from his set pieces this season.
Yeah, you've got some. I mean, I saw his cross from the free kick on Monday night for Dennis's header, and I mean, it's not something he really did a lot for Wolves, but I mean, his set pieces seem to have got better. I think he's taken some of the corners for you as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully we're not regretting the decision to sell him. I don't think on one game we'd do that anyway, but he'll certainly have a point to prove, and I think. If he scores and Wolves don't win tomorrow, things will be really interesting. The fan base won't be happy. So, but there's a talent there. I personally think Wolves have got a very good fee for him, but equally, you've got a very good footballer. Now, it's about finding a way to get the best tune out of him. At Sheffield last year, he played like narrow right of a 3 and sometimes in a 2. I think he's more of a forward than a midfielder these days with the way he plays and his drag backs and his touch and his step overs. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But Forest have got a lot of good movement. I mean, Dennis has got a bit of pace; he can move. Gibbs White has as well. So he hasn't got so much pace, but he's certainly got a trick and a step over. So yeah, tomorrow is going to be really interesting. And I say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not sure how I feel tomorrow when the butterflies kick in.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing that worked with Dennis as well. When you play to his strengths, especially when you play ball to feet, it worked quite well on Monday. And I think tomorrow when it comes to kick off, I'm gonna be a bit on edge about it, if that makes sense.
Of course, well, I think it's the natural feeling as a football fan. People always get nervous ahead of games because we love our football team so much, because it means so much. And you go for that one dream day when you get a fantastic result or a goal, or even a tackle in a game can change everything. That one good challenge can lift the fan base and lift the team, and you can kick on. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. And it's interesting what you say about Forest going to 4-3-3, because I think Wolves will be 4-3-3 as well. Now, I talked on another podcast and on my podcast as well about wanting Wolves to go toe-to-toe. Now, no disrespect to Forest, but I think in terms of natural ability, Wolves would probably win the battle if they went head-to-head in terms of talent. But football doesn't work that way. It's about how much you want it. It's about confidence. Now, will Wolves want it tomorrow? I think so, but there's not a lot of confidence. However, I do think if we stand at the likes of Adama Traore and get Ruben Neves space to play, Mateus Nunes, these kind of footballers, Daniel Podence, these are players that can win football games. Now, I really want, if it is 4-3-3, that would suit me personally, because I think Wolves can win those battles, should win those battles. But will they win those battles? We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. And I forgot about Neves, because feel like he's been there for years, since obviously when you guys went up.
Yeah,
And
fantastic. He's along with Jay Martino, he's one of the best footballers, if not the best footballer I've ever seen at Wolves. His range of passing is, some people will like that. The distance on the passes the drill passes he hits left and right, and his vision. I mean, he doesn't score as many goals as he used to, but when he does, they're usually a really good goal. He hits some screamers in, and quite often with his foot, he more caresses them into the far corner away than thumps them home. But he's a wonderful footballer. He was suspended for the game at Chelsea last week. He'd already picked up 5 bookings, which says more about his position now. He's the pivot that sits in front of the 2 centre-backs, picks up the ball, he creates, but he's also the blocker there. He'll stop any dangers coming through, and he'll happily take a booking for it as well.
Yeah, that seemed to work quite well, to be fair. We had Frulo played Monday, and for me, it did the basics right, if that makes sense. So it didn't do anything stupid, but it just kept the ball moving in what we needed, and it just did that whole really, really well. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys, any holding midfielder's job in front of, I mean, you're getting a lot more players like Neves now that aren't just stoppers. They're footballers as well that can create. But first and foremost, your job in front of the 2 centre-backs is to protect them, to give them a little shield, and then to come and collect the ball off them, because obviously the centre-backs probably aren't the best footballers in the world. So you want someone that can come and collect the ball off them, that can create and keep it moving. So it'll be an interesting battle. I think Daniel Podence will be playing tomorrow, but I don't think he'll be playing wide left. He'll be playing quite close to Diego Costa. So that probably might give your holding midfielder something to think about, because Podence's movement and flicks and touches are, when it works, he's very good. We've not seen a lot of it this season, but we've been waiting for a long time to get the big man, little man. I mean, Podence's like 5'6". Diego Costa's 6'2", so the big man, little man combination there. Podence feeding off Costa, with hopefully Traore providing the supply. Now, my theory is good. Will it work? I don't know, but I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's one of them one. You can't wait to see when it happens, but if it happens or not, or if it works or not, it's another thing.
Yeah, I mean, I am feeling confident about tomorrow. Now, I don't want to come on a Forest podcast and say I'm expecting Wolves to do this and that. But I don't want to sit on the fence. I do think Wolves will win tomorrow, but I only think Wolves will win if they score the first goal. I think if Forest get the lead, I'm not sure how Wolves, having only scored 3 goals all season, will turn that round. I think the place will be very, very edgy then. But I do believe if Wolves score the first goal, I think they'll win tomorrow. But it's football; anything can happen, and it doesn't. No one wins a game of football on paper.
Nah, definitely not. And with Forest this season, especially at home, we had a 2-0 lead against Bournemouth that we threw away, and 1-0 against Fulham. So I think if Forest do get first half lead, I think they could actually said with the crowd, they could use that to their right infection. But then if Forest do a Forest and do a second half performance, it could cost us dearly. But obviously, we're actually on my edge from the seat. So you got any score prediction?
A score prediction for tomorrow. You're not going to like this at all, Dan. I do apologise, but I'm going to go for Wolves 3, Forest 0. Now, I could come on the podcast and sit on the fence, and I'm sure your listeners and viewers will be throwing things at their phones and laptops right now, and I do apologise, but I do believe in my team, and I do believe tomorrow will be our turning point.
It's a fair shout. I mean, probably the first time had a fan comment with that fan comment that it's that confidence. I give him a do for doing
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I don't know why I'm saying we'll score the amount of goals we scored all season in one game, but I genuinely believe. I mean, the caretaker manager, he's a Wolves fan himself. He's going to want this tomorrow, and I think the crowd will be behind the team tomorrow. I think they'll believe they know how important this game is. So I think Molyneux will be angry, it'll be loud, and I do believe that will see Wolves on to win. But good luck anyway, Dan.
Thank you, and you too. I think I mean, for Forest, they got to come and win, to be fair, because they hadn't won in 8 games, and if we would have won one there, I would have took a point against Wolves tomorrow. So, one of them ones, but I mean, they always say that saying in football about win your own games and pick up whatever you want away from home.
Mm.
So, I'm sort of split about it, if we win or not, but I mean, I just hope we don't lose, if we're being honest,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I think quite often say the league table doesn't lie. At this stage of the season, I mean, it's starting to paint the picture of where we're at. And Wolves, at this moment in time, Wolves deserve to be where they are because they've been really poor. I can't really say there's been a lot to be excited about, and there's been no identity or direction. But I do believe we have the players that should be further up the table. Now, that's only on them. If they can go and believe digging tomorrow against a Forest team that will fight till the end under Steve Cooper, which they absolutely will. So Wolves, if they win the battle, I think they should win. They could win the football match. But as I keep saying, Dan, nothing's won on paper.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to talk about your socials and the podcast you go on?
Yeah. So my podcast is the Wolves Report podcast. It's available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Hopefully soon we'll find just an audio base as well. But we have various guests on each week that come on, and various journalists from around the West Midlands and national journalists just talking about Wolves and football as well. So yeah, thank you for the plug. It's much appreciated, Dan. And good luck tomorrow. Safe trip. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you. Yes, definitely, guys. Do get looking on it, and thank you for coming on anyway, Ryan.
You're very welcome, Dan.
So I'd like to say thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.